The first night Enrique Dominguez spent on the subway, he clutched his backpack like it held gold. It didn't. Just 2 changes of clothes, a Spanish-English dictionary, and a dog-eared notebook where he scribbled goals. At 19, with no papers, no job, and no English, he rode the D train in circles through the Bronx and Manhattan to stay warm and stay invisible. 12 years later, Enrique rang the opening bell at the NASDAQ as founder of Dominguez Capital, a $10 million hedge fund with a waiting list of investors and a mission that echoed through the Bronx. But none of that was promised the day he landed in New York. Enrique was born in Santiago, Dominican Republic. His father died when Enrique was 10. His mother held down 2 jobs, janitor by day, garment factory by night. Enrique helped raise his little sister, selling snacks at the corner just to bring in a few pesos. But from early on, he wanted more. He'd spend hours at internet cafes, watching YouTube videos of New York. Men in suits talked about stocks and buying the dip. It all sounded like magic. Or maybe math with swagger. Either way, it sounded like escape. At 18, Enrique borrowed $680 from 2 cousins and a church friend and bought a one-way ticket to JFK. Land of opportunity, he told himself. The reality? His backpack was stolen his first week. He slept in a shelter for a month until the time limit ran out. Then he couch surfed. Eventually, the subway became his safest option. But every morning, Enrique woke up on a mission. Survive, then hustle. He found work wiping tables at a fast food joint on Fordham Road. At night, he washed dishes at a Dominican restaurant. He taught himself English between shifts, through library books and overheard conversations. It was at the Bronx Library Center that everything changed. Killing time before a shift, Enrique wandered into the business section. A librarian noticed him staring blankly at the shelves. "You looking for something?" she asked. "Money," he said, half joking. She handed him a copy of The Intelligent Investor. "Start here," she smiled. Enrique didn't understand half of it, but he copied terms into his notebook. Value investing, margin of safety, compounding. He treated the glossary like scripture. With the librarian's help, he started paper trading on free platforms, watching how markets moved, how news triggered price swings. He saved every dollar in tips until he could buy a cracked iPhone and start tracking markets on the go. After 3 years of saving, he finally opened a Robinhood account with $1,000. His first trade was 2 shares of Amazon. They dropped. He panicked and sold. Then they bounced back. He learned 2 things: don't chase noise, and don't panic. But he still did both for a while. One night, fueled by a Reddit post and too much coffee, he pushed $400 into Tesla options. The next day, the stock tanked. He was crushed. Not because he lost money, he was used to that, but because he'd gambled, not traded. That night, he stayed up late reviewing charts, reading filings, watching breakdowns. He decided, I'm not guessing anymore. I'm building a system. Enrique got serious. He started tracking every trade, noting what worked and what didn't. He focused on risk management, built a small watch list, studied catalysts, and ran back tests on his strategies. He'd sit on the floor of the library, headphones in, studying moving averages like other people studied for the bar exam. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. Over 2 years, he flipped his $1,000 into $12,000. Small wins, consistent execution. Then came the night at the restaurant. Enrique was bussing tables at a midtown steakhouse when he overheard a man in a navy suit say, "We did 12% last year, not bad." Enrique couldn't help himself. 12%, he said, half joking. "I made that last month off AMD calls." The man looked up, intrigued. "You trade?" "A little," Enrique shrugged. "Show me." Enrique had screenshots. He showed them. The man, a hedge fund associate, raised an eyebrow and handed him a card. "Follow up." Enrique did. Once, twice, no response. On the 3rd try, he showed up in person, wearing his best Goodwill button-down and carrying a manila folder filled with hand-drawn charts and handwritten notes on trade setups. It looked like a high school science fair project, but it showed conviction. The associate finally agreed to a 15-minute meeting. "I don't know if you're a genius or a gambler," the man said, "but I respect the grind. I'll pass your name to someone." Weeks later, Enrique got a call from a small proprietary trading firm in Midtown. They offered him a junior trader position, $35,000 base, bonus potential, and training. He said yes before they finished the sentence. The firm was no Wall Street palace. It was 6 guys in a cramped office with dusty monitors and a microwave that barely worked. But Enrique had a badge, a login, and a Bloomberg terminal. To him, it was heaven. He showed up early, left late, drank financial statements like water. His screens were always filled with charts, news feeds, and Excel models. He asked questions no one else asked. Things like, why does this move on volume but not on earnings? Or, what's the short interest telling us here? When the firm gave him $100,000 to manage, he treated it like it was his mom's life savings. He returned 18% that year, not by swinging for the fences, but by focusing on asymmetric bets, tight risk, and deep fundamental research. But something else started to stir in him. A coworker from the restaurant, Maria, asked him one day, "What should I do with $500? I want to start saving." Enrique spent an hour explaining ETFs, compound growth, and emergency funds. 6 months later, Maria came back. "Yo, that ETF you told me about? It grew, not a lot, but it's working." That stuck with him. It was the first time he realized, helping people build wealth feels better than just building my own. Enrique kept stacking wins, but he wanted something more personal. He started sharing insights on Twitter, little by little. One thread, breaking down how local small business owners could hedge fuel costs, went viral. It got picked up by a popular finance blog and earned him thousands of followers overnight. One tweet led to a DM from a Bronx barbershop owner. "You do this for people like us?" Enrique met with him, then a bodega owner, then a car service dispatcher. Word spread. He wasn't just a trader, he understood where they came from. He explained finance in a way that clicked. The firm he worked at wanted him to stick to high net worth clients. Enrique disagreed. He wanted to help people with $1,000, not just $1 million. So he left. At 30, Enrique launched Dominguez Capital from a shared workspace in the South Bronx. He had $250,000 in savings, mentorship from 2 Wall Street vets, and his edge: trust. His first investors were people who used to tip him at the restaurant. One was Maria, the same coworker he helped with that ETF. She gave him $3,000. He took it seriously. His early wins weren't flashy, but they were personal. He helped a Dominican bakery hedge grain costs before inflation hit. Saved a laundromat owner $12,000 in 1 year by restructuring her business debt and investing the difference. Local word spread faster than press ever could. 3 years later, Dominguez Capital had $10 million under management, a team of 4, and a growing list of community investors. The firm focused on socially responsible investments and emerging markets, blending Enrique's roots with modern financial strategies. Enrique never stopped giving back. Every Friday, he ran a free financial literacy class at the Bronx Library, the same one that handed him The Intelligent Investor. He launched Hustle Academy, a program that taught teens stock trading, budgeting, and entrepreneurship. One of his mentees, Marisol, went viral on TikTok for turning $100 into $600 through sneaker flips and ETFs. He cried watching that video. He created internships, partnered with youth centers, and even helped fund a nonprofit that taught new immigrants how to build credit and open LLCs. The media took notice. CNBC, CNN, Bloomberg all lined up to tell the story. The headlines called him the Dominican disruptor and the subway sleeper turned Wall Street winner. But Enrique didn't care about headlines. He still rode the D train sometimes. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to remember. After one workshop, a Dominican teen pulled him aside. "Yo, I Googled you. You really made it out?" Enrique smiled. "Nah, I didn't make it out. I just made it up, and now I'm making room for everybody else." Because at his core, Enrique wasn't just a trader, he was a translator, turning Wall Street into a language the Bronx could speak.